I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
President, I'll move the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
To move the consent agenda. Supervisor Wickman, Supervisor Shea. Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Development. He's out today. So we'll have Pam Callstrip, Acting Director, Public Hearing and First Consideration of Ordinance 2021-07, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Potawatomi County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 44.9 acres from a Class R2 urban transition district to a Class 1I1 limited industrial district and setting a date for second consideration. Can I get a motion to open public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Supervisor Wickman, seconded by Supervisor Schultz. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Groby.
Aye.
Okay. We're in the public hearing. Anyone speaking in favor?
Yeah, John Turks.
John? Okay, John, you want to give your name and address for the record?
John Turks. Home address is 29507 Juniper Road, McClellan.
Okay.
Owner of Midline LLC with my wife Carrie. We're DeKalb and Asgrow dealers and Kent feed dealers as well as farm in the community. We're the ones proposing the change of zone and then looking for our permits to build our new warehouse facility there on the south side of Underwood. That facility will serve customers for feed and seed needs primarily. That'll be the majority. There'll be some seed treatment going on there for soybean seed, I think. There could be some seed corn over treatment. That could be a growing business as time moves forward, but that's kind of our intent with the purpose. We're looking to put in a 120 by 270 warehouse with 6 bulk soybean storage tanks, be about 24,000 seed units capacity there on the property as well. Working with a number of pretty talented guys to put this together. John Hurd will be our dirt engineer, if you will, to construct and place our property up in the probably northeast corner of the property. So.
Any questions?
Looked pretty good. Met all.
Yeah, no, we're excited about it. I think the community's excited about it. You know, not often you get a structure like that coming to town. I guess I wished I was probably buying some Iowa farm ground as opposed to building a facility like this, but I guess it'll be nice. We'll take it, you know, so.
Is that within the city boundaries? It's not,
It's just barely out of it.
but they have
Yep,
jurisdiction.
yep. It's just barely out. I think the ditch is city, but I think the ground is you guys, I think, so, yeah.
They're being within their
2 mile limit or whatever.
Yeah.
You're located in town now.
Yeah, we are. We rent the property there at 26276 Magnolia. It's just Paco's Tires in the parking lot with us right across from Jack Link's. And part of what we're looking forward to doing is we got flooded out of that building there on March 13th, a couple of years ago. It's kind of a low-lying area, and water management is a major, concern as we build this. I don't ever want to go through that again. That was a long day at our place. But yeah, we've been in town there since 2008. We've rented that building from our landlady, and we'll continue to rent probably into the middle of next year's construction. We were hoping to get going this fall, but I think if we get some dirt work done this fall, we'll be fortunate and probably start in on the construction of it in the spring. So yeah, we've been in business since 2001, started on the corn crib out at the farm at my place, and I think we'll actually fill that little building full of bulk soybean this winter just as we're kind of transitioning, so yeah.
Great, great. Any Any other questions? Anybody speaking opposed?
John, is the city gonna annex you?
No,
Where are you gonna get your water from?
we'll put a well in. Oh, actually, take that back. I take that back. I'm getting confused here. We will tie into rural water there. Yep.
It's right along.
Yeah, it's right there, yes. I've been in the combine cab too many hours here recently. I'm a little zooty.
Pam, anything you got to add?
The planning commission recommended approval. It aligns with the land use plan that industrial areas be within a half mile of towns and close to interstates, which it meets all those requirements. So
Okay.
he'll, if approved, he'll secure his building permits through our office.
Okay.
Pam, is there a specific date you want the second consideration for?
Next Tuesday.
Pardon me?
Next Tuesday.
I'll make a motion to go out of closed session,
Second.
No, we're going to public hearing.
or, public hearing, sorry.
Okay, we close public hearing. Did you second that, Mr. Shea?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Groby.
Okay, so now we need a motion. and
Make a motion
second
to approve.
set, date for second consideration of ordinance 2021-07, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of Powell County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 44.9 acres from a class R2 urban transitional district to a class I1 limited industrial district for
November 9th, right, Brent?
Yes.
Second.
November 9th,
10 bells.
2021, 10 o'clock. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Is that a roll call or not?
No?
No, we're,
All right, awesome.
did you second that, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds like a great project.
Yeah,
Good to
perfect.
see that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I think our customers are come a long ways from driving down my 3/4 mile long driveway with a gravity wagon to structure like this right off the interstate, so no, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good location.
Yeah.
Good location.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Is your father named Roy?
Yeah.
You own any land over by him, just to the,
Yep, I got a small farm over there, just kind of in the neighborhood over there at Mom and Dad's, and yeah, that's where we're combining right now, so.
any updates on anything else going over there?
It's as quiet a neighborhood right now as it's been for 15, 20 years today and yesterday, so. I don't have anybody flipping us off, or, you know, anything like that, so.
Another 9 months or so.
No chicken farm?
Yeah, no,
chicken farm activity?
No, nothing like that. We're putting in some fences on the property line literally as we speak and some of that kind of stuff, so yeah.
Awesome. All right.
No, we'll see how that all goes. Dad's all over it, I can promise you that. Him and my sister.
Okay, good. We got everything there, Mr. Auditor?
Yeah.
Okay,
We do.
We're all good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate your,
Yeah, thank you. Yep,
You want me
I
to-
got the one thing I'll keep, but everything else will always be. Just that one permit I'll keep. Add that to my file.
just one thing, how many,
Is it?
Yeah, should
Okay.
be.
just one thing real quick, John, how many employees you got?
Oh, that's a floating target. You wanna start today? I need some help. Oh, we got 3 part-timers right now, 2 full-timers, my wife and I.
Okay,
We're looking to iron, add 2 more as we go, so.
okay, perfect,
I'm not sure Dad's looking to keep grinding away as hard as he has.
yeah,
No, we should hopefully get to 3 full-time, or 4 full-time, my wife and I, do about 6 of us.
okay,
And then we got the oldest boy's gonna go off to ag school, and eventually that cattle thing will all be him, and youngest boy's a sophomore, oldest is a senior, so that'll, Generation 6 is, nipping on our heels a little bit here, so.
Perfect. Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it very much.
Okay, Okay, next up, and I think we've added some names here. We've got Jeff Walton.
Right.
And Larry Klein.
Yes.
And then Tom Coleman, right? And then
Roger Sorensen.
Roger. Okay, then Roger Sorensen. And then Peter's not here, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you need just the one address for the rural water, or what do you need everybody's address, Melvin?
No, I don't think I need their address because it's not a public hearing. They're just giving an update.
Okay.
We don't really care who they are.
Okay.
What they do.
Informal, away we go.
Ask some questions too. And Matt, are you on there, the call? Matt Wyatt?
Yeah, Scott, I'm here on the call.
Okay. I don't know who wants to kick this off. You, Matt, or
Yeah, I can help kick it off for everybody.
Okay.
We wanted to, I've been having discussions with Rural Water due to their management change that they have had up there, along with just some questions that we had about how the project was progressing along to potentially provide water to the Heartland subdivision off of Pioneer Trail. And through those discussions, it kind of came out that there was probably at least one detail that we needed to work out, which is what will the water rates potentially be for those customers down there. And then secondly, with the management change and not having the water tower there at Lake Ohana, will rural water still be able to meet the September deadline that is in the current agreement that we have with them to provide water by September of next year? So those are kind of the two main points, and then just to meet the new management people that they have in place now up there at Rural Water who we'll be dealing with.
okay. So I'm not sure who.
You want me to start?
Who wants to start?
Okay, so I'll start by introducing myself. So
Okay.
my name is Tom Coleman. I'm the new general manager effective tomorrow. Nick Gall is in the office today as his last day, and basically he's back out processing while we're here at the meeting. My background, I am not an engineer. I'm retired Army. Did 29 years in field artillery and logistics. Did run a logistics task force in country in Kuwait and Iraq, and had responsibility for storage and transportation of water on the military side. Totally different beast here. We didn't have pipelines or any of that kind of stuff. We had large 75,000 gallon blivets on the ground in a base camp surrounded by a Marine security detail. So all that being said, excited to be here, was humbled to be selected. I know there were guys who had better technical qualifications, but what we were looking for, I think, was somebody who's looking as a forward-thinking manager. At least that's what they're telling me, the reason they picked me. So that being said, we are in constant communication, seems like almost daily, with either the developers that are looking at properties there, Heartland, Jim Hughes, those folks, as well as the city of Glenwood, in terms of talking about the a water arrangement from them, as that's the closest point of water source for us. We've also had initial discussions with Council Bluffs Waterworks based on where their points of access may be. And all of that is to ensure that make sure that you guys understand it is clearly still our intent to provide water to all of the rural residents and communities that are not serviced by a municipality currently in Pot County, within our footprint for regional water.
Where are you in the conversation with Glenwood?
Well, we have had at least 3 meetings that involved board members. We've had technical meetings between Peter, who's not here, from DGR, our engineer consultant from DGR, with theirs. We have a what do you want to call it? we have a framework discussion that is going to be voted on here at the next meeting. We know that there's no signed deal yet, but we are close to an agreement, and we anticipate having an agreement within the next 30 days.
I'm on rural water. I pay 60 to 65 bucks a month. Is that what the people will pay in the Heartland Estates and the Hughes addition?
I can't speak to the exact rate that they will get right now because it all depends on where the final agreement with Glenwood goes. Understand that what Glenwood's going to do to provide water to us is to expand their current water tower by 100,000 gallons, and what they charge us is going to have a significant impact on what we're going to be able to, how low we're going to be able to set the rate for the folks in those developments.
Will you be pulling that water from an existing water tank or water tower?
That's correct.
Where is that located?
It's not there yet.
It's
the
Ferris
one-
Road and 230th?
It's not even built yet?
It's not built yet. And the other tower is west, I'm gonna say a mile to the southwest of Burris Road. And they're gonna put a booster station pump at the intersection until that water tower gets built to push the water. So we asked them about their chloramine, which Council Bluffs Water Works also uses, is chloramine. And our engineer wants to make sure they got 2.2 to 2.5 residue in the water, so it doesn't, nothing at the end of the line or whatever. So that's why they might have to put an injector system, or somebody's got to put an injector system for the chloramine to hold it up for the chlorine in the water system or whatever.
We don't want to buy water that by the time it gets to your house, it's depleted.
It's depleted.
And it's not doing its job, and we got it. So one of the sticking points with Glenwood right now is there gonna be enough chloramine residual in there by the time it gets up to Pioneer Trail, that it would be quality water. As far as your price was talking about, when Nicholas was working this up, we were about 52 bucks for 2,000 gallons.
And you want my rate lowered.
Okay.
We're nonprofit, and we are trying to just make sure our expense for capital improvements are in the pipe that's in the ground or whatever, that we have enough to pay off our 40-year note or whatever.
What I was gonna say is the rate that Glenwood wants will probably be a little higher, but I can't imagine will be any more
than what you're paying right now.
If you're paying 60, are you paying 60 for 2,000?
You know, I asked my wife, she pays the water bill, that's what she told me. So I really don't have any idea. I'm going
It's
on
not,
what
you know,
she said.
I just don't just price it out of, I mean, right now, Jason, thanks for coming. These neighbors are going in, and we don't wanna price at the point where it makes 0 cents to have it. And
Well, right.
you could have 2-acre lots on wells, which are in very high demand too, versus us having 1-acre lots and being on this water
Right.
system. So I guess for us, from our perspective, we want those rates to be competitive. At least, I mean, if they're in the ballpark, I think everyone's gonna be fine with it. But
Our whole motto is to deliver a quality product at a reasonable price.
yeah,
Okay, so we're pretty tight. We drive used vehicles, When we go out trying to do something, we try to do it at a reasonable cost. Now, Glenwood's starting out a little higher, so we're gonna have to be a little higher.
well, I guess so you're talking about putting this chlorination system in.
If we have to.
If we have to.
But if they would agree to,
That's not, I mean, I can't imagine that takes all that much. I mean, you're talking putting some type of pump in that gets fed from a product that you're putting in once a week or a tank or
No, it's a
something.
little
Right.
complicated.
The engineers.
The engineers do not, they're talking like
Oh, the time-
they're talking about
They don't make
$300,000.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult you.
No.
I actually do water treatment at Sire Ethanol.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
We pull about 3
Okay,
million
so you
gallons-
understand, well,
yeah,
We pull about 3 million gallons of water out a day.
yeah.
And we treat that water, and by the time it's done, you can almost consume it. I mean, we don't hit that point, but we're right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand what you guys have to do to get that
Thank you.
water to hit those needs. My question to you is, do you need one-time expenses, to get to that point? Like, are you gonna build this system and then have to charge us a rate on that system to compensate for what you're getting out of Glenwood? Or would it make more sense for the county to chip in and say, look, we're gonna put this pump system in so that we can just make sure we guarantee these rates? I don't wanna price people out of this, cause to me, it's like, thanks, but no thanks if we can't get there. I mean,
right.
it makes no sense.
It all depends on, if you put a September 30th or deadline or whatever on. We talked to our engineer just the other day or whatever, and we asked him, can we get pipe?
Yeah.
And he says, I talked to 3 of my suppliers. He says, we'll make the pipe, but we cannot guarantee a delivery date.
Right now, it's all everything that's going on for whatever reason with the logistics supply lines and availability of the trucks to haul it. The guys that build the stuff says they can build it for us. The question is getting it to us in a reasonable amount of time so we can get it in the ground.
Has the engineering been done on the water tower?
That would be
Glenwood.
Yeah,
So they're gonna build the tower.
correct.
We got,
That's part of our agreement.
Buy into 100,000 gallon of it, right?
They were always gonna build a tower, I think.
Right.
But since we were gonna go on there, they were gonna make it bigger, so they want impact fees to cover
Okay.
the size, the increased size of the tower.
So we don't have control when the tower gets built, and you don't have control of it either.
Our engineer told us that we could serve the first X number of houses without a tower at this time.
They can guarantee that.
Well, that's what he told us. I mean, he says, we can serve, you know, if Glenwood don't get their tower built by September 22nd or whatever the date is, he says, we can serve the first, and I'm
Has he got
gonna,
any?
25 houses maybe,
Okay,
you know, just ballparking this, you know.
okay.
And that's by memory and it's not that good, so.
Jason, what's that do to your guys' timeline? I mean, like, let's say if we had to go beyond September 30, I mean, are you gonna be building at that point?
September 30, I assume you're talking of 2022.
Yeah.
First of all, sorry for my tardiness. I didn't know we were on the agenda. So Mark called me and said, you need to get down there. I said, I can't make it. So here I am. You know, I guess, you know, if we start in the fall, it's going to take us, you know, 7-8 months to get all the infrastructure in. Realistically, if there's enough to provide 25 houses, I would assume, you know, I don't see us building over 25 the first year. I mean, we could, that'd be great, but it does make me nervous a little bit, just the conversation of depending on all this stuff after we put in millions of dollars worth of streets and dirt work and infrastructure, and then if they didn't come through with the water. And the concerns we're having as developers is we're used to what Ventry's rates are, which were higher, we understand that, but I'm a little nervous that we get these lots that we're selling for 100 and some thousand a piece or whatever, and then the water rate's so high, people don't wanna buy them, you know? And so I guess we hope we have some kind of insurance that that rate is reasonable. We know it's not gonna be the same as in town here. Those are the conversations we've had, you know, just kind of nervous about not knowing exactly. We will kind of wanna know what that rate's gonna be.
How far out are we on until we got a damn good estimate on the rates?
Nicholas had originally proposed this thing with, we have a rural rate and a bulk user rate. And he proposed this at the lower rate of the $52 or $55 what we're paying now.
Okay.
But it was gonna take 220 houses to make the payments. Okay? So if we raise it $5, we're in where you're at.
You're
And
$60 or $62
you know,
a
and
month.
220 houses, it's gonna be a while for your 220.
Yeah, yeah.
And same with Jim Hughes, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know.
My name is Jason James, Heartland Properties.
Oh, okay, Jason, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
But anyway, if we raise it a little bit, that's at least should get us, to where it's more feasible, you know? But we're not talking about coming in and starting this thing and then gouging the customers, because we don't operate that way. If that's what you're
Can we
thinking.
get an agreement, in our agreement, can we get some kind of date on this tower and serviceability to that many homes?
We'd have to go to Glenwood.
I
mean,
mean,
that'll-
you're working with them, and we wanna pin them down, cause we're working with them pretty hard to get this going.
Yeah.
And this is really throwing a monkey wrench in it.
I
You know?
apologize, guys.
Hey,
You know,
Look, things happen.
this here was dumped on us because our previous manager was not very good at communicating. He walked in, he says, here's the deal, and I go,
But we got a new one now.
we got a new one now. And hopefully you guys are gonna know him very well, and we're gonna reach out and communicate to everybody, because that's gonna be one of the things, you know, communicate. And so, we wanna see this go forward. Just,
Good.
you know,
Okay.
you know, we got some hurdles to jump, and we will keep you informed. How's that?
So if I could, let me ask a question, which is, what is the date by which this organization, this body would like a firm, I mean, obviously the sooner the better, but is there a no later than date that you're saying, you know what, within 60 days, we want to see a on-paper layout that tells us that we're looking at a $60 a month for the first 2,000 gallons type deal?
How about November 5th?
Let's get next year.
Let's say, 2022, that's a long lead time.
I guess the thing you gotta understand is that the developer's just basically hinging on, okay, are we doing the 2 acre lots or 1 acre? And-
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a substantial amount of money for them that they could get if we could do these 1 acre lots, so I think it's important that we set a date. Now, I realize full and well that materials might not show up on time, and I think the developer would get that too. They're gonna deal with the same hurdles, you know, when it comes to running copper wire, whatever they gotta run down there to get that infrastructure in place. But I think if we can put a good date on there and say, all right, we're shooting for this date, you know, I think that gives them a timeline they can kind of get started. I mean, right now, for Heartland, I'm speaking a little bit on your behalf, Jason.
You're up in the air, right?
They're moving dirt right now to get things ready to go.
Right.
And then once they kind of get the north-south from us, that we got this date, we're gonna do this water, it's gonna happen, then they can start feeling a little more comfortable about building.
Well, so that then begs the question, so maybe we need to be talking to you guys, because obviously you're the ones who are already invested significantly monetarily. So what's the date by which you really need us to be able to fish or cut bait? I mean, are we talking 60 days? If you give me 45 days or
30 days.
or 30 days, you say, I need to know by
Well, we got
this time next month so that we can pull the trigger, or we gotta look at alternative, going to 2 acre lots and putting them on wells as opposed to 1 acre on water.
You know, I would say, again, the sooner the better for us. We just have to, when we start the plat process and the dividing of the lots, and there's some things with grading that are gonna change based on that. Right now, some dirt's moving, but the way we grade it would change versus 1 and 2. I guess I'd wanna talk to our engineer and ask him a few questions on that, but I would tell you the sooner the better. For us, I know it'd be ideal for the county to have the 1 acre lots and for us, but we're not opposed if we have to go to 2, because there's a lot of cost to the interior water lines we have to run anyway, Our perfect scenario is to go the 1, providing we know that this rate's gonna be, competitive. And I guess, what do you think's realistic? Could you have something by spring,
No, we can.
I'm talking way before that.
We need enough time to talk to Glenwood to hammer out the details.
Right.
Yeah.
So if
So,
the corner says 30
I would think we would need at least 30 days, but not more than 60.
Well, that should work for us.
We ought to be able to come back to this body next month at approximately this time and say, here is the layout, and give you a more detailed of what an agreement looks like and what that precipitates in terms of an expected rate. And that way you guys can know at that point where you need to do.
Well, and the rate thing is one part of the equation. The second part is that what it's gonna be built there and to us by, because obviously that's if we say, yeah, the rate's gonna work, even if it's high or whatever, but when's that pipe gonna be there so that when we're ready to connect? Because now that we've divided these into 1 acre lots, and if the water's not there, we can't sell them, and then we're sitting on a big pool of expenses, So we have to make sure that water line's gonna be there, by the time we're ready.
And Mr. Schultz, you made a comment earlier in your opening statement about the possibility of some sort of a jump start where the county says, we'll put a booster station in or whatever. I would tell you that is news to me, that would be a possibility, and that would precipitate some possible changes in how our engineer would be operating if we knew that was something that we're not gonna be having to worry about engineering or at least financing right up front.
Well, we give you 300,000.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
That needs to be in that.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where I was going with this conversation too, is that if there are hurdles that are in your way, we need to know what they are and see if it's possible that we can partner to get you over that hurdle. If there's something that, this is gonna be a deadline type thing, then
The hurdle's not there yet because we have, we specified we want so much residual in the chloramine and everything.
Right.
But it didn't look like they were willing to help.
I'm a little curious on that, so you're hitting it with chlorine to get the chloramines to basically kill your bacteria, all that fun stuff. My question is, are the homes gonna have to have softeners on the other end of that? Or is it
No,
gonna
that's
be?
the intent. By having it at that level, the intent is that when the water gets to the homes, there's nothing that they have to do other than turn on the water.
So so your residuals will be low enough that you're, okay.
That's the formulation that the engineer was talking about is we need to be here because of the length of the pipe, so that by the time it gets to the residents, they don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Just use it.
Chlorine goes a long way, so,
Yes.
that's one thing I just worry, what your water.
Another question is,
water,
what,
take
the
showers.
road, if we go on, people's property.
Public right of way?
Public right of way or whatever, is there any road grading gonna have to be done to get the pipeline work done before the pipe gets laid in the ground, so we're not putting the pipe in, then 4 or 5 years come, you gotta relay the line again?
I don't think anything that you guys have to do is gonna interfere with what we got going on the roadside. Or if it is, it's such a temporary matter, it won't be a big deal on our end.
That'll be your engineer and maybe our secondary roads engineer, but we won't foresee.
You guys are going right on the right of ways coming north, I forget the name of the streets right now.
230th off of Burrs.
Across there, I don't think any of that's gonna interfere with our roadway.
See, and we've been doing contingency planning.
Engineer on those dates.
Start over, Matt.
Matt, go ahead, Matt.
John has already tied in with Pete on working on making sure that those projects run seamless. But those will be the 2 dates. The rate part, if you can come back to us in 30 days and let us know exactly what those rates or roundabout would be closer to. And then the one date that we have to really pay attention to is that September timeframe, because that September timeframe is our current contract with you guys for the $300,000. And if we don't hit that, then there's payments that are supposed to be made on there. But we understand, of course, that the supply chain issues, everybody's dealing with those. But we'll want to make sure we alter that prior to running up against that deadline.
Okay,
Okay.
appreciate that.
The question that I got, do you have your own construction crew to lay the pipe, or is that a third party?
We have an habitual relationship with McCarthy Trenching, and they are quality outfit. They have done a really good job for us.
Right, we put that out.
But we would put it out for bid and we'd get the best deal.
We Blue, I don't know if you remember Blue, I think they did some of our construction, maybe up to Underwood, I'm not sure.
McCarthy, are they out of a whole country?
Yes.
McCarthy does a lot of our media stuff,
So you bid it out.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Is that a requirement of rural water?
Usually government funding we have to.
Government funding,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I just was curious. And then, go, what, and I don't know, it seems like it's priority information, the coverage area and such that you have around, Pot County. Do you cover most of Pot County then?
We cover most of western Pot County,
Okay.
yes. And the footprint was, that I've seen anyways, or at least when they handed me the map, said this is our area that we're responsible for providing water to rural and residential customers. That color code was set by, or was those outlines, boundaries were set by Iowa Rural Water Association. So I believe we do have the vast majority of western Pot County, and then is it southwest Iowa?
Basically
Rural Water has
southwest
the other
Iowa,
part.
whatever
So we're
sewer wall
split.
out of Creston doesn't serve, and what West Central out of Manning don't serve, we have the capability that's supposed to be able to go in and serve, but we gotta find a water source. That's our biggest thing, is get a treatment plant or some water source to furnish the water in the districts or whatever, so.
I guess what I'm trying to get across to you guys is that we want to be your partner in this. So like, if there
Yeah,
are
we do
things that
too.
come up, we wanna know. Because at the end of the day, if Jason's outfit can build all those houses, that's a lot more
Not
tax
usable.
base that we're able to, draw from down the line.
Yeah.
And it's gonna help us out in the bigger picture,
A
so.
lot more water sold.
I
Well,
think.
that's the whole point. It's gonna reduce the amount of money that we have to sit there and try and figure out how to finance if we know that there's gonna be, the plan is for 300 units on 1 acre as opposed to 150 on 2 acre lots. Clearly, we would rather have the 300 meters feeding us so that we can turn around and put it right back into the system to feed
Yeah.
these guys.
This general area, I mean, there's still a lot of farm ground out there that is being actively farmed, but when you look at what kind of expansions could happen in the 10, 20-year future, that is a pretty prime ground, and it's pretty likely that as we get roads paved out there, get water ran out there, that it's gonna open it up for more development. So as these water lines come in, I think what we originally talked about, you could service up to 500 homes on what we're looking to put in,
Yeah, I
something
think
like that. So we can
that was the
double
ballpark,
basically what we
yes.
got going in now. But I think bigger picture, I mean, when we start going up 240th Street north of Pioneer Trail, that opens up a whole nother piece of ground that you can talk about 1,000 homes in the grand scheme if that gets sold off to a developer. So we wanna make sure that whatever it is you're doing can get to the point. So if you got an 8-inch pipe versus a 10-inch or something, I'm not sure what size you're dealing with.
Coming from Glenwood.
So we wanna make sure whatever, you put the big size in, so that way we get the most out of that. And then if not, then we need to know, okay, where can we put another water tower in this general area that we can get, basically those pipes would feed your water tower and then your.
Right, so, yeah, and that was part of the thing, I think they were talking we could feed 500 homes before we had to add a water tower to go for more.
Going back 4 or 5 years ago, Justin, when they put that water tower out there east of West Fair or whatever, our intention was those houses that were first started going out there 4 or 5 years ago, we was gonna purchase water off that. Well, that kind of put on the back burner because COVID came along, all this stuff came along. Now we're back in to negotiate with the Council of Waterworks to see what kind of rate we can get off that hardened water tower up there east of West Fair or whatever, to go serve that way and maybe head towards Trainer. So if we can get to Trainer on 92 or whatever, Pioneer Trail's not that far from 92,
No.
Justin. So we're working with both, that's why we put all these people in the loop or whatever, so like Tom says, we'd like to furnish the water for the whole, we're meeting tomorrow in Oakland with the Potawatomi County, what is that?
It's just Rural Potawatomi County Investment Corporation. They're working with Iowa West Foundation and other grant and loan sources for funding rural water. So we're
Do you want, do you want us involved in that, or any of our board members, or you think you guys got a handle on what you need?
Well, I know they're the ones that hosted it. They set the thing up. I don't know who they sent invitations out to. Obviously, we got ours
You
and
guys
several
got
of them.
invitations to the Michelle.
We are involved in that.
Yeah, but you're sick.
That's,
That's to make sure someone's going, man. Are you sending Pam to that, or someone else
We
going?
got 2 of them, one on 11:30 tomorrow, and then I think.
And there's an evening one tomorrow evening.
They canceled.
So they did cancel the evening one?
Is there something else I can?
Sorry.
They canceled which one?
The evening one, I was the only one that signed up for that one.
Oh.
They called me this morning and said, hey, we're not having it.
Yeah, I was gonna go to one tomorrow, but I can't, so.
Yeah, I think it was mostly city officials that were invited to it, because it was all the small towns putting together their infrastructure plans.
Maybe I
and
should
stuff
have forwarded that email. I assumed you guys got it.
Mayor Kayla.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got Trainer, Hancock, Macedonia, Carson, a whole bunch of them that are coming, and they're interested in hearing what RPIC is through Iowa West, what kind of grant opportunities there may be out there for smaller utilities to connect to, and the whole pitch is to regionalize our water resources, and the
Yeah.
ones who have that is us.
Maybe that's what the cities want to talk about, but I think it was more what Michelle came up with on her, and Lance on their survey of the little towns.
So that tower that you just spoke of is, out there on 6, has, X amount of capacity left in it?
I spoke yesterday with Doug Drummy. He said they have excess water capacity that they could serve us off of there. And the only difference is it's gonna cost us a little more money because it's a little bit longer length of pipe that we would have to lay to come down from the north as opposed to coming up from Glenwood. But it's a readily available, and there's no impact fees that we would have to pay per unit that Glenwood is looking for us to do to help offset the cost of that water tower that they're gonna build. They've got plans to build, but they're gonna make it bigger for us, and we're gonna cost share that construction. Waterworks doesn't have any of that kind of additional financial impact on us because you already have it built and you already have excess water capacity. So
I
we'd be a
don't
bulk
think
water
the city of
customer.
Council Bluffs, when we did that joint agreement to start this subdivision, the city of Council Bluffs made it clear they didn't want the water coming from that water
Well,
tower.
they just didn't want us in the Pony Creek watershed, that's basically what they said. So I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's completely out of line to think about expansion off that, but I don't think for this particular neighborhood that it would work with off there. But I think we can go east.
And
Go ahead.
Pam or Matt, do we have it in our code that if rural water is available to a development, they have to hook on?
Yes.
Okay. That makes the price of water and the rate very, very important. If the rate is too high and our developer says we can't handle it being that high, we won't build the water line.
Right.
You're okay with that too, right, Jason?
Obviously, everyone's gotta make a living, you know, or pay their bills, but we want to be fair, you know, I mean, and again, you know, we kinda based our numbers on kinda what Ventry was paying, we knew it was 1.5 times or right in there, and we assumed it'd be something similar, but on the water tower conversation, so if the water came, cause I talked to Doug yesterday on another matter, but if it came from that tower off 6, to me, it would open up a lot more ground, you know, that's prime than the one from Glenwood, but if it was coming from Doug's tower, wouldn't he be okay with it then?
So I think he was fine with it. I think community development, the city was not.
You're right, that's what it was. I'm
It
sorry.
was that whole 2 mile, you know, impact and the space. They wanted, it was Little Pony, I think is the name of it. They wanted us out of that watershed.
That's what it was, you're right.
But,
Is there negotiation available with the city on that still?
I suppose anything's possible. I mean, I just know this was 2 years ago. We had that conversation with them. And they
What
were
was their
18
reason?
months ago. They just, I don't know. I don't want to speak for them because I don't really know.
Okay.
But it was kind of a hard no at the time. So
Okay.
that's why we looked at going
Yeah.
from the south. Matt, you were at the meeting, you know. Go ahead, Matt.
Right. They wanted to protect that watershed from any kind of subdivisions jumping in there ahead of city annexation. And that watershed that they have is really perfect for them if they do go to extend sewer and water up to that area. So that it was all about protecting that coordinate of the ground around Council Bluffs.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, there's nothing stopping us from doing a water tower.
Going back to annexation, are they in 5, 10, 15 years, they're gonna annex this, all that we put the regional water puts in these system, water lines or whatever eventually, or what's
Pioneer
that?
Trail, you mean?
Yeah, I'm a Pioneer
Do
Trail.
we see
No,
Pioneer
not
Trail being
Pioneer
something
Trail.
that'll get annexed?
Not Pioneer Trail.
I mean, I think the city would love that, but no, I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
We'll all be gone before that ever happens.
That wouldn't make a difference to you, would it?
Well, as long as we don't lose I mean, this is part of our system, once we build it, you know, if we have to give it up, you know, then that's.
To be required to give it up if the city annexed it?
Well, that 1926.
1926B says if you got federal money against the pipe, they can't take it. But we can't be forced to sell it. But, you know, otherwise, the city, and you know, you were talking about the hard no, that's probably where that's coming from. You know, for rural waters and city waters where, rural says, hey, you know, we got money in this thing and this is paying our bills and you wanna take this section. And, I think, running my mind at Barillo up in Ankeny, spaghetti
Yeah.
pasta maker.
Yeah.
I think they were in a rural setting and the city of Ankeny expanded and, you know, they demanded that Cherry be theirs, you know, and that was part of the, you know, when rural water built that was, you know. And so.
Did you get paid back for that?
What's that?
Did you get paid back for that?
It wouldn't be us. It was
another
a different rural
another
water.
water.
Did they get paid back?
Yeah, but what they wanna do is they wanna buy it for cost, what you put in 40 years ago.
Because the cost to build today is not gonna be the cost
It was
of us
20.
having to go out and get new pipe 20 years later when it's now annexed and they wanna buy it at today's prices 20 years from now. You know, it ends
So
up being
I understand the city wanting to protect what's theirs, you know, but we also, you know, if we're gonna make that first step, we need to protect ours too. And so that's part of what that's for.
Yeah.
Our lender says, hey, you got this infrastructure and somebody's gonna take it from you, you know?
I just don't ever see that. I mean, I don't think in my lifetime that that's ever gonna happen. I mean, it's just,
No.
it's so far out. And I think even, Jason, your property, that, I think there's only like a little chunk of it that hits that 2 mile sector. So you got a long way to go.
I would be surprised for the city to get that far out, looking at the growth pattern, even since the market picked back up in 2011 to today, which has been a really good 10-year run.
Yeah.
If you look at the amount of ground they've consumed, I don't think that it's gonna get to there. I mean, anything could happen, I suppose, but I just wouldn't see it getting to there. I do see it, you know, heading out 6 more in 92, and I don't, you know. My thought is if they did take it, again, they would have to pay you, which you're saying at cost. I mean, ultimately, you guys are a nonprofit. The idea is just to get water everywhere, really,
Right,
in your
utility,
perfect
yeah.
world. So I guess you still accomplished, you know, the goal of getting water in more areas in the state.
I just think we can, you know, we're not like an endless piggy bank, but I mean, we certainly can help you guys accomplish some of these hurdles you'll end up getting into. And
Well, if we run into that hurdle with the
Timetable,
chloramine residual.
the timetable also, Justin, you know, because time, we have no control over time for this material, and if they can get construction workers, but McCarthy though, they do have a good crew. We know that they can get it done fast, but when you submit bids and you're supposed to take the lowest bid, sometimes we do have to alter, you know, you guys have done the same thing or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think, you know, obviously we want that September 30 timeline or whatever it was we put on there, but I don't think that's such a hard number that you guys should be at risk or worried, you know, like, because if it's gonna have to change, we realize it may have to change, but we just don't want to do it to the point where.
Jason.
We know what and Tim, going back to what it's gonna cost, yours is $60 or $2,000 minimum.
65, something like that.
We will probably not, we'll be in the
I don't
ball.
think we'll be, Glenwood right now, was it you telling me Glenwood is $65 for a customer in town?
Right, their city utility is 65 for the first 2,000 inside the city limits of Glenwood.
Is that what mine is?
So I think that may be what yours is. I
Are
mean,
you
I don't
on
know
rural
where you
water?
live.
Yeah, I got hooked on in 2018.
Oh, well, then you're the same rate as me. It's gonna be like, is it 56 including taxes, or right at 60?
You know, the city of Crescent's real close to where we're all talking.
Okay.
Real close to $60 a month.
lawn and stuff, and all I know
I mean,
is if the
the
rate
thing-
goes down to 52, I'm gonna be part of that.
Okay. Hey, he's working on something. You
I'm-
might be surprised.
And you know, I'm serious.
No,
Yeah.
we are
I really
too.
want this water line to go.
Right.
But if the price for the water is too high for our developer to work into the lot and really feel comfortable
Yeah.
starting the development and spending the money to put the interior water line in, then I don't wanna build it.
Right.
So here's what I would offer to you. Regional Water will come back to this body in 30 days at your next, a month from now, board meeting. And we will have a more detailed layout with a best guess estimate of where the rate's gonna be, so that we can then use that to inform a lot of the other people that really are waiting on us to provide you information you need to make an informed decision. Whether it's the real estate developer who says, well, we're gonna have to go to 2 acres and put them on wells, or it's 1 acre and we'll be on rural water. I would tell you, my conversations with the board, to be quite honest, I said, look, I'm one of those guys that thinks we ought to check every avenue. You gotta have contingency plans that says, if this falls through, what do we have left? Because the bottom line is, if people have houses there, they're gonna need water. Are they gonna have to put $6,000, $10,000, $12,000 in out of their own pocket to build their own well? Or are we gonna be able to put them in on a safe, secure water system that they can get at a reasonable price? So what we owe back to you is a more detailed breakdown of what we believe our informed estimate from our engineer guys and ourselves as to what the rate will be.
And agreement with.
My hope is that we will have an agreement in place, at least an agreement in principle, if not a signed contract with Glenwood Municipal by the time we come back in a month. And if we have to, maybe we do a two-pronged thing. That's one of the things we're looking at. The contingency is we do a reduced contract with Glenwood and we go back and talk with Doug at Council Bluffs Waterworks about a way that we could provide part of the water coming out of the excess that he's got to sell and become a bulk customer from Council Bluffs Waterworks. Bottom line is we'll make it happen. Okay, the problem is we got too many unknowns for you guys to make an informed decision about anything, whether it's delaying the 30 September date on the loan or at this point, I don't feel comfortable asking you to push back that loan because I haven't given you enough information to make an informed decision. So my promise to you is I will come back to you in 30 days and I will give you the information you need to make a decision.
Okay, so let's set a date. The 30th of November is 28 days. Can you do it by then?
Yes.
Or December 7th would be almost 35 days, so.
Well, let's hope that this December 7th won't be a day that lives in infamy.
Should we go for,
But
can we do November
Army guy.
30th?
Yes. I'd rather
That's
do the
4
30th.
weeks.
I'd rather do the 30th. I'll be back here with information for you on the 30th of November.
Jason, can you be here?
That answer sooner, you're welcome to try to line up.
Well, we're gonna be in conversation
I know.
well before that, but
In
yes.
case we have questions.
Yes, sir.
So,
That'd be good.
so what was, is there a rate that they've put out there already?
And there's, as a bulk user, yes, but there's no, like 250,000 break, it's whatever goes to that meter, it's one flat rate. There's, even though our bulk, biggest
Most
customer.
of the deals we have are what's called a declining block. So the more water we use, the lower rate we have to pay for that next 100,000 or that next 500,000
You're talking about
gallons.
what we buy from Glenwood.
Right.
They're talking about what they use as an individual user, right? That's what you're wanting to
Well,
know.
kind of both, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, so as individual users, one of the things we've been talking about is water conservation. You know, obviously we had an issue this year. We had to impose water restrictions, basically that gave them fees for water that they used over their normal monthly average. And it hurt a lot of folks called complaining about that rate, but it was equally applied to a mutual paying arrangement.
So over the 2,000 gallons that you allocate for a house,
Right.
is that right?
Well, some houses have a historical average that says this is we got a family of 10 and they average 6,000 gallons a month. So as long as they stayed in their average, they got the rate that they got, which is 53 for the first 2,000 and then $9.20 for every 1,000 gallons over that, up to 10,000 gallons total. I mean, we have a 3-tiered rate structure over our minimum. What I was looking at was we're actually encouraging people to use more because if they use anything over 20,000, we're giving it to them at a flat rate of $5 a 1,000, as opposed to $9.20 that they're getting for the first $8,000 over or 8,000
We
over.
have a lot of people water their grass on that
I-
water. I've always wondered that.
Well, let's put it this way, when you're giving that kind of a rate structure
Right.
and you're in a drought condition, so I'm not gonna use my well to water my grass, but hell, I'm only paying $5 for 1,000 gallons, I'll use my rural water to water my lawn. We had excessive usage even with those fines in place. To me, we had the structure wrong. So what I have proposed and what we're working on is flipping our tariff structure so that you're gonna get lower prices for using less water, and the guys that use over 20,000 gallons a month are gonna pay the highest per 1,000 rate. The net result of when we look at it in the draft is 1,600 out of 2,200 pay less because they're the small guys only using 2,000 or 3,000 gallons. And the top 50 ones are the ones that are actually having to pay more. And those are usually our ag guys anyways. It's our pig farms and our cattle farms, the livestock guys. And every one of them has their own wells, so it's a question of how much of our water do you want to use, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it will encourage conservation. It's gonna give a rate cut to a lot of folks. And to me, it encourages people to use less water.
So Scott, going back to your
else?
question, we are trying to get that block system.
We'd like Glenwood to give us the more we buy, the cheaper it gets.
Sure.
Not a whole lot, but less than what the flat rate going to the meter at what the first price, you know.
So do you usually have a rate increase every year, or what's that been looking like?
We've done, the highest rate increase we've ever done was $3 a month.
But we don't
Most
do
of
it
the
every
time
year.
and we don't do it every month or every year. We've done a lot of dollars a year, you know, and, you know, who knows where this inflation's headed, but we try to keep it to a minimum. We've done, the highest one was $3, which would have been 6% on $50, you know, which I thought that was plenty. But before that, we did a $2 and then a $1. $2 one year and a $1. That seemed to work out good for us. We're painting our water towers. We try not to make one part of the company subsidize somebody else, okay? So, we're painting our water towers, and when we do this project, you know, with these 25 houses, 10-inch line, you know, we're gonna be out there flushing. We're gonna be dumping $6 water on the ground, you know? And so that's gonna take a while before we get up to, we need like 220 houses to break even. And the two projects together don't add up to 220 houses.
Not yet.
Okay?
That's what we're
So
trying to
if we
get
put
going.
$5 on the rate, hopefully we'll get this down to where, you know, because we're gonna see this development. I think this is gonna keep on going.
Yeah, I think
You
as long as
know.
we're all communicating, I mean, especially with Matt Wyatt and Pam in their office, I think that'll help us.
Yeah. So,
We get to that barrier where it's like, okay, we're not hitting what we need to break even, and we just need to know. I mean, we put a sizable amount down to try to get you guys and help you get to that point.
We appreciate
So,
that.
yes.
we wanna,
But we're still hammering out with Glenwood. They just, their GMU's secretary, all she does, we ask a question, she just keeps shaking her head.
Shaking
No,
her
we
head.
ain't doing nothing. What we got here, that's how it's gonna be. And there's no really no negotiation, but if we gotta get it down tight, we will get it as tight as we can.
you know.
Well, we don't want it 1 year later to go from. if it-
Exactly.
We don't
being
either.
We don't
60
either.
bucks, and then the following year you come back and say, well, it's 100 now.
No.
I mean, that doesn't work.
No, we don't operate that way.
Guys, you're welcome. Maybe Tom can give you a rate history of what we do. We don't do that. This
3
year,
raises in the last 7 years.
if I can
that he talked about.
condense what Tom said, we had a problem with water shortage. So the first 2,000 gallons was $53, okay? The next 1,000 is like $9, okay? We put it above 3,000, if your average was 3,000, we put a $10 penalty on that second, or the addition, if you went over your average. So instead of paying $9 for that extra 1,000, you were paying $19, because we couldn't get enough voluntary conservation, you know? So we're looking for water. So if you happen to go over on yours, Tim, you might have seen a $15 bump or $20 bump,
I'll ask her.
you know? But that would have been why that was.
Her fault.
And here's the thing,
I did what we had done, it was like, I don't remember, $300, $400, $500 a month.
Ouch.
your water bill was?
For water and
Water
sod.
For water, oh, water and sod, oh, okay. Yeah, it's probably not your
No, we
best
don't do
choice.
it anymore, but we had to do it to get the grass going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, I just wanna make sure that, we have a fair price for our developers and something that's gonna work.
And then November 30th, Scott, somebody will be, Tom or some of us board members will be back down again on the 30th.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
Yep.
yeah, we appreciate what you're doing.
another thing, guys, when they do this addition down here, you know, if somebody wants to serve on our board, they can see that we don't have any agendas. Nobody here has a car wash, nobody's looking for a special deal, we don't give special deals. You know, we treat everybody the same. So if somebody wanted to, you know, somebody this one area, you know, we pay mileage and $25 if you want.
$25 a month, a meeting. That's all we pay our board.
But the idea is, you know, you see that,
That barely pays the fuel.
yeah, I know.
Hey, but we're basically volunteering our time or whatever.
Yeah, but we try to be fair to everybody and no special deals, not that we don't get letters asking for them.
So how many representatives are there on the board now? 5, so you would expand it to 6?
Not necessarily. We got a couple guys are gonna get off. One guy's gonna get off in March and maybe another guy. So, you know, we don't want them to stack the board, but we want them to, you know, to understand that, you know, we're here to treat everybody fair and what's best for the community water.
Does Pot County have a representative then?
We've asked.
We've asked
Can't find
Underwood.
anybody.
Okay.
You want
We
to
had,
serve?
there's one party from Underwood, but his wife,
Larry Kerr was on there for a while, if you knew him.
Where do you guys live?
I live in Early, 5 miles north, 20 miles north of Shelby.
And I live east of Harlan. Roger lived east of Harlan.
I'm in
Another,
Boca.
one lives in Persia, and the other one lives southeast of Harlan also. Thanks, Justin.
Oh, thank you.
No, we tried to get people, we got water going down to Elkhorn and Brayton towards Audubon. We tried to send out them, they come to one meeting. This ain't what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
We're a pretty easy board to work with, but we keep the general manager in line
Yeah.
Where's your meeting at?
at the plant down there
Right north of 80 on 59?
Yeah, just north of Interstate 80 down there on 59 to bottom.
We'll get together and see if we can't find somebody that might wanna serve from Pot County.
When is your, meeting?
The
Third
third Thursday of the month.
1 p.m.
But Tom is gonna try and get his grade license, and that's when they have the meetings on, the license are on Thursday,
This
so we
month
might.
I made
is
an
gonna be screwed up.
I made an alternative.
Oh, okay.
I got you covered. Leave the meetings where they are, I'll take care of it.
The Thursday at what time?
Thursday, 1 p.m.,
Okay.
third Thursday of the month.
Scott, I believe that opening for that board member will be in March at our annual meeting.
Okay.
So if you find somebody, we'd like to see them come to the meeting several times, so he kinda gets an idea of who's who and what we're doing, so.
But we will try to have something nailed down by November 30th, so.
Sounds good.
And then just one, do you have a legal representative that attends your meeting?
Yep. Dave Youngman.
Dave Youngman?
Dave who?
Youngman.
Youngman? Is he
Spelled
out
With a J.
Greenfield, Iowa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does he handle a lot of rural waters, does
He does.
He was
good
Surwaw's main attorney back 25, 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we got hooked up with him or whatever, because we're gonna need some more legal advice here, since our territory is growing up in Shelby and Audubon and Pot County down here from the Urban Bloods Project or whatever, with easements and right-of-ways and all the legalities or whatever, so.
Okay.
We appreciate you guys coming today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pam.
What's that? Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome, thank you. Appreciate the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll try to keep you informed.
Yeah.
5:30, I'll say someone.
Is that a 10 a.m. meeting or early?
10.
It'll be 10 a.m.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay.
First, yeah.
Morning, David.
Good morning.
Next up, we have David Zaire, CIO, discussion and decision to approve and authorize CIOs to sign agreements with Great Plains Communication for internet service.
David, is this a big savings?
It's a little savings, but the purpose is not to save money or to increase speed. The purpose is to work with a new vendor to try them out. These are small contracts. So this is with 2 locations. It's the Public Health Building on South 4th Street, and then also our backup site, our Civic Center, 1819 Farnham. They're a new company, not new company, but they're new to us. And I've been talking with them, and I wanted to learn about their services and about their customer service. So I wanted to throw them a few of our small contracts to see how they do. They come recommended. So the savings is total between the two is about $40 a month, so it's not a lot of money.
Okay.
But it is and it's not an increase in service or speed or anything like that. It's just really a opportunity to work with a new vendor to see how they do. The location at the Civic Center in Omaha currently is serviced by Lumen or CenturyLink. The Cox services the Public Health Building. So it's really just a trade out of services to see how they do.
So, so it's a 12-month deal?
No, it's this 1819 Farnham location is a 4-year deal. The Public Health Building is 3 years, or whenever they build a new building, we would cancel that contract. And it's kind of leading up to something else, and that is the contract we have for this building with Cox ends in February of '23, so about a year and a half or a year and 4 or 5 months. And I wanted to see how this company does so that I could then, when we go out to bid for this building, which is certainly our biggest expense, I wanted to see what another company does out there.
How long has Great Plains been around?
Decades.
Really?
So they're based out of Omaha, actually Elkhorn, and they've been around for many, many years. They've added a lot of fiber in the Council Bluffs area.
So they do have their own.
Yeah, they own their own fiber, their own equipment, and
Oh, okay.
they seem to operate, based on my experience, to operate kind of like a small town company, but they service Omaha and Council Bluffs, and so they're doing big city things, but they just feel a little different. So customer service has always been a little problem with these telecommunication companies, and I just want to try out another company to see what we're getting.
David, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, let's just see.
I assume you vetted some of their customers?
Well, they vetted with the City of Council Bluffs. They use them for some things. Their fiber ring that touches Mid-America Center, which is a huge project, actually, a 10 gig line, and they like them. So I thought I'll throw them a couple small ones and see what they do.
Okay, because apparently they don't go to residential. I have never.
No, I don't think so. At least not in the Council Bluffs area.
Right.
But they are adding lines, so maybe they will at some point.
Huh. Okay.
So I'd like to make the motion to approve you doing that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good motion.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Schultz. Discussion?
Yeah. David,
Yes.
I want to learn a little bit more about the 1819 Farnham.
Yes.
Do we have more than one provider?
No, we don't have just the one.
So if that fiber goes down, that backup site goes down?
No, so the location is 1819 Farnham, which serves Hitchcock Nature Center.
Oh,
So it would be Hitchcock that would go down.
Hitchcock would go down,
Correct.
not our 911 center.
Correct.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
I believe we get our internet from, or is it the ski hills
Who gets there?
at home?
Oh, okay.
I think we get it from the ski hills, there's a.
They got a point net or something.
Right.
Western Iowa Wireless, probably.
I think that's what it is.
Yep.
My IT girl, she'd know.
Okay, yep.
I don't.
No, this serves Hitchcock Nature Center. It is our internet service to the backup site, which then we transfer up to there via point to point. But we have two connections between here and the Civic Center, and that's how they get service. 901 does.
So on your existing, is it, you said Cox, and what was the other one providing the existing?
Lumen does 1819 Farnham.
Are you on a month-to-month with those two then?
We are on month to month with those two.
Okay, perfect.
What kind of bill is that?
So the 1819 Farnham, currently the bill is $539, and that's for 100 uploads, 100 downloads, 100 megabit downloads. And this new one will be $569, so it'll be $30 more. The public health building, we pay $212 a month, or $213, to Cox for a cable modem. The Great Plains one will be $139, so a savings of $73. And that'll actually be fiber, so it'll actually be a better service, not a cable modem. It'll be actual fiber, so.
We're just giving them authority to sign these two, right?
Right. Yep. Any other questions? So then you'll evaluate, there's no getting out of these if this doesn't work, it doesn't take it, I guess, so you'll come back and evaluate these at this coming up February?
So February of '23 is when this building is up for
These
renewal.
contracts you give these guys, you're gonna do like a year or something, or what do you?
We could explore the various options. If it was these guys, maybe we would do shorter. I mean, Cox has been doing this building for a decade. And we've had our pluses and minuses with it. It's been good, it's been bad. which is why I'm interested in looking at other
And their
vendors.
service is like,
I mean, the service is fine. There's been outages here and there, but the customer service is really hard.
That's what-
It's hard to get a hold of somebody in our immediate need. And we've communicated that to them several times.
That's this whole corridor down here, it's not just this building.
right, right.
Okay,
Call for a
all
vote.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, now the update on the managed print service contract.
Sure. Board member Shea asked me to bring this to you guys here recently, and so I wanted to update you on what we've experienced with them, and I've also included a chart and a graph there for you to look at the numbers. Basically, it was last fall that we were looking at the management services contracts, and Bishop is who we selected. Bishop, if you've got the graph in front of you, but the actual billing each month has been roughly in line with what they quoted us. They quoted us about $7,500 a month. We're doing right around $7,000 to $7,500, something like that. I guess the highest one's been $7,300 or $7,600 there. So we are hitting the mark. The amount that we were paying prior is a little, I don't want to say sketchy, but they were spending about $10,000, $11,000 a month on services before. So we are saving roughly $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000 a month on this contract. But I wanted to let you know that it's only a savings if we remove these items from our budgets, right?
Well, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm just saying the numbers might still be in people's budgets, so actual savings isn't realized until, that
Do you
gets
have that
subtracted.
written down by department then or something?
I have the new numbers by department. I don't have what they were paying. So.
Yes, it does. So, we're working on that.
So just, so in general, we're saving $3,500 a month by grouping this under one contract.
That was a very good move.
It was a good move. The actual service, I think, has been good. I've not heard anyone complaining.
We did have trouble last week. A toner cartridge said it was empty, so Jody went and swiped one from payroll. And then payroll put it in and said it was 85% full. I don't know. There was some confusion with toners. It would be nice. Can we have extra ones on hand? I don't know if Bishop will do that or not because.
I believe that they will absolutely do that.
Yeah.
So I think reaching out to them, or if you're having trouble getting a response, let me know.
I don't know if they called Bishop or not, but there was some issue with a toner cartridge.
There's 3 ways to get hold of Bishop. There's email, their website, or their phone number. And I've tried to communicate that the best I can every way.
They've got it stuck right there on their printer. They can just call them up.
The only complaints that I have heard is we still have some old contracts laying around with the old vendors that Bishop is paying those bills, but we're having a little bit of trouble getting them canceled. I've had to get involved with the canceling, and I think we're gonna get them resolved. It's just taking longer than we had hoped.
What's the issue?
The issue was originally that the old vendors wouldn't let a new vendor cancel it for them or for us. So I've had to get involved with the canceling, and it's not an exact science. You have to work with very specific people, and it's hard to find those.
You got any idea?
There's 2 left that I'm working on.
Okay, good.
Bishop is paying those bills though, so it's not any cost to us other than a little bit of my time.
Okay.
So as far as other printer issues, I've not heard of any other than what you just mentioned, and certainly.
Probably a fluke, who knows?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm not getting any other
So
issues.
do you get a monthly report on the printers that are under the Bishop thing?
Every department gets a monthly report for their printers on how much printing is occurring.
Okay, the department gets it, you don't get it?
I get my department, but not everyone else's. I could if I needed to, but I don't necessarily need to, I don't think. But every department head gets their department's print counts, And that's an
It'd be
opportunity.
nice to-
What's that?
It'd be nice to probably track that and see what, if it goes out of the norm for some department, you know, I mean. I
That's the
don't know-
purpose of those
I don't know
reports.
Who's in charge of that?
Who's in charge of?
You're getting that report for each of the departments, or how many, you know?
Well, it's each department's responsibility to control their printing.
No, I understand that. I just don't know who's getting the report. I've not seen one.
Well, I suppose Andrew probably got one, and I got one the other day,
So-
and I sent it out.
Like for your department, you mean, or?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
Okay.
like. is-
So you print, there's, HR prints off this one, right? Is there anybody else prints off?
Oh, the one in the board's room?
Yeah.
No, we use the one over in B-Wing now.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Okay, I thought you used this one.
If I'm over here, I might use it, but,
Okay.
normally.
So everybody use that one in the lunchroom or break room or whatever?
Everybody on that side of B-Wing does.
Conservation, IT, and HR
Okay. all
share
right.
that one. Yep.
Okay.
but you'll get your own report, and Mark will get his report, and
Yep.
David will get his
Yep.
report.
And I think that was one of the questions during this whole project, right, David? Who owns this, right? Scott, you were asking, like, who's in charge of looking at, oh, is this out of the norm? Can you bring these down? There really isn't one. Each department should be tracking that.
It benefits each department to look at their account because they're the ones getting charged it. So if someone's over on color,
You nailed it earlier when you said though, that, it's not realized. So while we're saving this money each month, that is true, we are doing that, but the budget's still there. So department head can say, well, as long as I'm underneath X dollars for the year in my budget, I'm good. So there's really I think that's where we need to get a handle on those reports and say, okay, you trended X dollars per month on the old way, and now you've trended this with the new system, and then that should kind of give us an expectation. Mitch should be all over this, actually.
I can certainly get you those reports.
No, I think that'd be good to have.
And then you'll forward them to us.
Well,
we can
we're
just-
gonna start, we're gonna start working with all the
There's
departments.
no way
next
for us to
month.
know
Right.
at
So
this
it'll be
point.
like, hey, this was your old one, this is where your new one
We're
is.
trusting you
for
handling
that
it. You're gonna say, yep, we got it.
Us, so we can see
As
them.
long as you come in under budget, you nailed it. But that doesn't do us any good. We need to actually realize
How
that.
many months have we been doing this, since?
Since April roughly. April was kind of a partial month. We were still on the old and still on the new one. So, but
We've probably got 6 or 8 months then that we can
Almost 7.
get a.
and some departments are cyclical, certainly, right, with elections and
Yeah. you gotta
tax
have-
statements and things like that. I mean, there's a very.
David, that was a good move.
you gotta have
I
some-
think so. I think so. So I will get you, Mitch, the
Yeah,
monthly reports so you can have those, and
yeah, but is there like a year-to-date one?
No, please.
And that's not on it?
I don't know that, but I can get a,
Yeah. We can figure that
I'll
out.
work with you on what you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
How's your
Thanks, Dave.
cyber position so far?
So he's been on the job for 2.5 weeks or so. His name is Andrew, and you'll see something from him in December. What he's doing today is he is analyzing all of our systems, all of our departments, all of our locations, and coming up with a report on where we're good and where we're not good, what we need to adjust, what we need to tinker with. But you'll see that report in December. So he's really evaluating right now. And his background, he's a retired Air Force. And he's been doing cybersecurity for a while. So we got a good guy. And I'm excited to see what this report looks like. But we meet weekly to discuss various issues. And then but he's working on the grand scale, a big report that will then be able to communicate opportunities or areas that we need to work on. So, and I'll definitely be communicating that to you guys whenever I see it.
After he gets his feet good and wet, would it be to any advantage to have the CISA guy come down and, he'd come down for free, but would it be any advantage for him to just?
Speak up.
Who?
CISA guy, from the cyber.
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security,
Okay.
Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, part of the Homeland Security. But they will come down and just do a survey or investigation for free. And what it would, I know, we had a guy down a couple of years ago with, I don't know. what-
Well, we had CISA do a vulnerability scan a month ago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, yep, and we have that report, to
Alright.
Andrew, and he's using that as part of his evaluation.
Okay.
But the report will be honest and upfront on where we're vulnerable and where we're not.
Okay.
So
they can do a scan without actually coming down and.
Correct. Better not be vulnerable on printers.
That's usually the back door, you think?
That's a back door, and so are SCADA systems, managing heating and cooling HVAC. A lot of times that is a back door as well.
Good.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
David, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion and or decision to approve and authorize the board to sign resolution 112-2021 entitled Resolution Providing for the Amendment of the Articles of Agreement which form the Workforce Development Chief Elected Official Consortium for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014.
So move. Second.
Scott, are you on that?
I am.
Why are they having trouble getting people to show up?
Because there's 17, good idea, guys in 17 counties. And they try to have the meetings in either Denison or Ottawa or Woodbury or something. And the dates are trying to get 17 supervisors on whether it's a Wednesday or a Friday or a Monday or whatever the date they try to set. We just have a hell of a time getting them. And they offer them by Zoom and stuff, and
They're just horrible meetings.
Like pretty
Yeah,
boring
honestly,
meetings.
I sat in one one time, it was like 5 hours that I'll never get back in my life. And it was just.
but yeah, you get, they had it probably too tight to begin with, but I had that discussion with them when we started this thing, and it just didn't. And now they've come to the realization trying to get 11 supervisors is not an easy task. I think we did it. Oh, I think we've done it twice this year only. So, okay, we got motion by Supervisor Wickman and second by Supervisor Shea. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman.
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Shea.
Aye.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 20.17, parent 3, for discussion or decision on labor negotiations or collective bargaining matters.
I'll second.
Second by Supervisor Shea. Roll call.
Chairman Bell.
Aye.
Supervisor Shea.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
And Groby.
Take a break or something.